welcome. Today we speak to Fanele who is the CAS Coordinator and Community Service Head of Department at the United World College of Southern Africa, Waterford Kamhlaba. Not only that, she also wears the hat of being the chair of the Eswatini National Committee for UWC. But we do not end there because she's also the founder of the Knowledge Institute. I'm Tabelo Dlamini, and let's get climbing. And with that said, Babugula Makaya, please help me welcome Fanele to Young Climber. Fanele, welcome to Young Climber.
Thank you for having me here.
And just as we start off with, I want to know, or the viewers want to know, what is the United World Colleges?
All right, so the United World Colleges is a network of 18 high schools around the world who are mission-driven to make education a force to unite nations, peoples, and cultures for sustainable future. So we are high schools that offer the IB program, the International Baccalaureate, but really the idea behind it is that all of our students who come from all over the world come out of high school with a sense of responsibility for what they want to do in the world.
And can we talk to the scholarship program and how it benefits eMaswati? Please share more about the scholarship program and Kutsi iwasita ngani eMaswati.
Yes. So in order for the United World Colleges to be able to reach young people of all income backgrounds, we have to make it accessible to people from all income backgrounds. And a big part of that is ensuring that we have a scholarship program that allows eMaswati and other people from low income backgrounds to be able to access the education. So about 80% of all students who attend United World Colleges receive a scholarship, including at Waterford Kamhlaba. And the scholarships are in two levels. There's the scholarship to come to Waterford Kamhlaba, which is administered by the school itself here in Babane. And then we've got a national committee, of which I'm the chair, which receives scholarships to then send eMaswati to 17 of the other United World Colleges outside of Waterford Kamhlaba.
And now we're moving on to the Knowledge Institute. Can you tell us what motivated you, to devote your efforts into providing free education and professional development resources to almost everyone in the Kingdom of Eswatini?
Yes. I was inspired by my education in United World Colleges. I was a recipient of the United World Colleges scholarship when I completed my Form 5 studies, so I was able to go and complete my high school education in Europe because of the scholarship. And when I got there, I realized that there are so many other young people who are also on scholarship, and we all receive scholarships to then further our education for the undergraduate program in America. So that inspired me. My UWC experience inspired me to actually find ways that I could help other eMaswati be able to access the same opportunities that I received. So that's why I started the Knowledge Institute while I was still a university student, actually, to say that I want this to be accessible to more eMaswati because I know that they are there who qualify, but they just need help in terms of the resources in order to be able to afford their education.
And and speaking of giving people resources, you have a very ambitious mission, which is of course to increase the number of young people in higher education by at least 50% or 50% in the next 5 years. How do you plan to achieve this goal?
Yes. So when we were doing our research with my co-founders of the Knowledge Institute, we found that actually it's less than 10% of students who graduate from high school every year in Eswatini who are able to access tertiary studies. So if in a given year we have around 20,000 high school students completing Form 5, then it's about 2,000 who are able to access education in public institutions on a scholarship of some sort or another, or thereabouts. So that was very concerning for us. And yet, on the same time, at the time that we started TKI, the King had this Vision 22 of taking the country to the next level of development. And what was clear to us is that you cannot have development if you don't have the people who've been trained in order to be able to bring it about. So then we decided we are going to do everything possible to find the resources available to eMaswati in order for the country to be able to develop by making them be able to access education. So as the Knowledge Institute, that's what we do every day. But now even in my role as the chair of the scholarship committee in the United World Colleges Eswatini, I'm further able to help that. To help us achieve that mission.
All right. And now speaking of UWC and TKI, how do they help young people access these scholarships, both locally and of course internationally?
Yes. So I'll start with the United World Colleges, of which Waterford Gamhlaba is a part of. So since United World Colleges started in Eswatini, there have been over 200 Emaswati who've received a scholarship to study at a United World College, either here at Waterford Gamhlaba or one of the other United World Colleges around the world. And those scholarships are offered by those same colleges to say, we want Emaswati to study in our schools in those countries. So every year we have a selection process. Students can apply in the first week of March of every single year. We get over 200 applications, and on a given year we have about 7 to 10 scholarships that we award every single year to Emaswati to be able to access this. And then in addition to that, Waterford Gamhlaba has other scholarships that they offer to Emaswati. So that's one way we do that. We ensure that when we get the scholarships from United World Colleges, that they reach the people that they are intended for. And then on the Knowledge Institute, we do this every single week. So every single week we are researching on the scholarships that are available, new scholarships and all scholarships that are ongoing, and we publicize them to the public. This could be in the local newspaper, but of late we've also been going to career fairs that have been put by the Ministry of Labor around the country, where we go again and we motivate students to apply for these scholarships.
And as someone who has also studied abroad, you know, we've spoken so much about other things, but what are some of the valuable lessons or experiences that you gained and you believe can benefit Emaswati from your time abroad?
Yes. So I think it's several things at a personal level.
Yes.
The first one is that there's really no getting around hard work, right? Scholarships are competitive by nature. And most students, when I engage with them in Eswatini who are trying to apply for a scholarship, they will lead with, my family doesn't have money, or this and that happened to my family. Unfortunately, as a country, we're still reeling from the impact of the HIV pandemic. So we've still got a lot of young people who just don't have the resources in their families because their parents have passed away. And yet, what scholarships are looking for is, do you have the academic ability in order to be able to sustain a tertiary education level? So this aspect of whatever my circumstances are, I need to embrace hard work. Whatever that looks like for me is something that I truly embrace. And I think that is something that I would want to pass on to other young people. And the second thing is just having that belief in yourself. I think sometimes when we go out and do outreach programs, especially in rural areas, the students have this attitude of, oh, this is something that is only for the kids in Babane. This is something only for the kids at St. Mark's High School. Sometimes we have to start from the place of, actually, this is for you.
Yes.
This is intended for you. You belong here. So that aspect of, yes, I can be a student from whatever high school in the rural areas, in the Shiselweni region, in the Lubombo region, whatever high school it is, that you belong in the same passages of the best universities in the world. I think that's something that I've also learned from having studied abroad, that we all belong. If we have the ability, we belong in those spaces.
And speaking of belonging, maybe nje kubukele umuntu who is about to complete, you know, their Form 5. What is the process of applying for a scholarship? How can they get in touch and enrich? Maybe they feel like they do have, you know, the ability to be awarded the scholarship. How can they do it?
Yes. So the first thing there is that every single high school in the country has a career guidance teacher, right? So as the Knowledge Institute, we work, and also as United World Colleges, we work very closely with the career guidance teachers in the schools, whom have all of the information of the process of applying for scholarships. So I would say that the first thing you have to do as a student in a high school is go to your career guidance teacher and tell them, these are my aspirations, these are my intentions. Please help me, right? That is the first thing. And they have to have that same conversation with their families at home. Mage Babe, I would like to continue my education, to go to university. I would like to apply to these places. I'm making you aware because this process will also need you at some point. And then secondly, once they've engaged with those people, they need to make a list of where are the places where they wish to apply. And if they don't know where to even start to prepare that list, that's where they can go to their career guidance teacher and say, I want to study in Eswatini, I want to study in Africa, I want to study in Asia or in Europe. Which are the universities that have scholarships where I can apply to, right? They need to then come up with their short list and then follow the application process from those lists of places that they've identified that they want to apply to.
And then can we talk about the challenges of it all? Because, you know, you did mention that you received 200 applications, but only 10 get to go, you know. It's not everyone can have a piece of the pie kind of thing. But how do you deal with the challenges of, you know, having people apply and being rejected? And yeah, the challenges of applying for scholarships.
Yes, I would like to answer that using a story of one of the students that I worked with before the pandemic, Samgeliso Dlamini, who is from a township in Pikspik, Emangwanen, speaking. So this is the kind of student who already had the academic ability. So from 3 they did well, from 5 they were studying and they eventually did well. But this is a student who it was very important for them and their families that they continue their education, right? So for that student, one of the things that they would face as a challenge is that they don't have a lot of opportunities in their life. So the way that they have to counter that challenge is to apply to as many places as possible. So in the case of Samgeliso, every single scholarship that we advertise, either the United World Colleges opportunity or any of the other opportunities advertised by the Knowledge Institute, they make sure that they applied. So my advice was, if you have a need, make sure that you spread your chances of success. So he applied to over 10 scholarships around the world, right? That means 10 essays that you are writing. That means 10 application forms that you're writing. So the work of applying is not easy, you know. It's a lot of paperwork that you have to get through. And some students, they end up giving up because it's too much to apply. So I tell them, don't give up. So Samgeliso, when he finished from 5, when he finished his exams, for the next 6 months, as he was doing his little jobs in order to earn income, in order to pay for application fees, he was busy with applications. He didn't wait for his Form 5 results to come out. He was, when I say there's a scholarship at UP, he was applying. There's a scholarship at United World Colleges, he was applying. UNESCO has open applications, he was applying. So the challenge of our young people is access to opportunities. So don't say, oh, I only want to go to UNESCO, and then you only apply to UNESCO. 20,000 people are also applying to UNESCO. Apply to every single thing that is available to you so that you increase your chances of success.
All righty. When we return, Fanele, we will be talking about the importance of mentorship and guidance when applying for a scholarship, but that will be after the break. We have returned and we are still seated with Fanele. She is unpacking the mentorship now and the guidance in the journey towards accessing scholarships and pursuing higher education. You know, if someone comes to you and with the results, of course, the capability to do anything, but
yes,
how do you assess people like that? I think it runs into the mentorship and of course the guidance part.
Yes. So I think even before I answer that question, I really want to emphasize to students that it's really important to seek help around this question of careers while you are still in high school, right? I think sometimes our learners can be so focused on, I just want to pass and my exams and then I'll deal with everything afterwards. That's not really what you want to do. So schools do a really good job of bringing opportunities for mentorship to our learners, whether it be in the case in the form of attending career fairs or participating in competitions like the science fairs. Of late, we've been seeing a lot of STEM fairs organized by Women Engineering. So I really want to encourage learners to take advantage of all of those extracurricular opportunities, because they are a form of mentorship and guidance. Now, in the situation where someone comes to me and they've completely ignored those opportunities and they say, I am completely blank, what do I do? People get an education for different reasons, but I think one of the ways that it is most sustainable is that you connect what you are learning to what you are good at and what you are interested in. So if the student is from a place where they have access to the internet, I usually ask them to take a test similar to the test that is administered by the Ministry of Labor, that helps students figure out their strengths and their interest. So the Holland test of careers, you can also do it online, and we start there, right? But then we also, once we have those results, talk about what are the trends. Again, the Ministry of Labor does a good job of publishing data around which are the industries in Eswatini where there are not enough people who are qualified, and therefore there are open careers and people are not filling them, and which are the industries that are saturated. And then from that process, we have to draw up 3 or 4 of the top careers that fit within that context for that particular student, according to what are my strengths, what are my interests, and also what does the job market look like, right? So that is how I would advise the students. And then we take that and we match it with which are the areas that also match with the scholarships that are available and the careers that are available. So if a student comes to me and say, I just want to do chemical engineering, we try and open that up, because you might find that maybe this year there aren't enough chemical engineering scholarships, but maybe there are other engineering scholarships that are in line with job trends, that are also in line with what the student is interested in and what the student is strong with. So this is how we would have that conversation with the students. And we try and ask the career guidance teachers in schools to also approach it in this way with their learners as well.
And now we talk to the idea of partnerships and collaborations and how they contribute towards Waterford Kamhlaba and the TKI's efforts, you know, to increase access to education and skill development in Eswatini. You did briefly mention it, but can you unpack it? Kuti, you're sitting on international boards trying to draw those scholarships for us.
Yes. So talking about the United World Colleges and Waterford Kamhlaba in particular, we are an entity that works with multiple other partners who are in the education space. We are a CIS school, we are an ISASA school, so those are our accreditations, and we are an IB school, that is the curriculum that we offer. So by being accredited by all of these bodies, we also get to network with other schools who are in the space and share information that goes to benefit our students. But outside of that, as Waterford Kamhlaba, and in particular in my role at Waterford is head of department for community service. My job is to bring Waterford Kamhlaba to the community in Eswatini. What does that look like? It means that we partner with the Ministry of Labor, as I've already mentioned before. But any school that says, Waterford Kamhlaba, please come to our school to do a presentation or to motivate our students, it will be my department that will be going out to those schools or those career fairs around the country. And in addition to that, as Waterford Kamhlaba's Waterford Kamhlaba's community service department, we have a robust community service program that has over 50 programs happening right now in partnership with multiple NGOs. We work with the Salvation Army, we work with the Mbabane Government Hospital. We're trying to pursue new partnerships at the moment with the Baylor Clinic. We work with multiple preschools, we work with Cheshire Homes, with Hospices Homes. So there are multiple different partnerships that we are always engaging with, so that we are giving back to the Swazi community. And now from the TKI perspective, we are a member of HALI. HALI stands for High high achieving, low income. It's a network of schools and NGOs around Africa that work together for the betterment of students in our different countries. We're also a member of IACAC, that is a version of HALI, but that is now international. So by being a member of all of these international organizations, we are able to get that information that helps Emaswati at the end of the day.
And, you know, you spoke briefly about the Ministry of Labor being a part of, you know, reaching out to other communities, especially in the outskirts of Eswatini. But how do you think the government can further, or other stakeholders as well, you know, the corporate companies, help students improve educational opportunities for young people?
Thank you so much for asking that question. Speaking to the corporates, and I really want to direct this specifically to Business Eswatini, which is the membership organizations for the biggest companies in the country. We need more corporates offering scholarships for Emaswati. I'm very happy to see that the trend has been going in the positive direction. GALP has been offering a scholarship. ESCOM has been offering a scholarship. RES Corporation has a partnership with UNESA where they offer a scholarship for the mechanical engineering department. But we need more of the corporates in the country in a similar way where in South Africa there are bursaries offered by multiple of the corporates. In my opinion, corporates are not doing enough. They've left that burden with the government to fund education in the country. And yet they will need those people to be trained so that they are employing them in their companies with the requisite skills. They are not pulling their weight. So corporates, they need to be a bigger player in the education space by specifically offering scholarships. We are grateful that they're offering internship opportunities, graduate training opportunities, job sharing opportunities. But the fact is, if they are not getting students in seats in universities, then those opportunities don't matter, because it means that they are not opening the door for students to be graduates in order for them to benefit from them. So we need them to be offering more scholarship programs. And these scholarship programs can be part of the government scholarship program that is already existing if they don't want to take on the burden of now managing that scholarship program. They can partner with government to have a private scholarship program that is funded by corporates, that is administered by government, to enable more Emaswati to have training opportunities.
Fanele, moving on, can you please talk into the criteria of being selected for a scholarship? We did mention that academic capability matters, but there are other things, of course, that go into being selected for a scholarship. Do you call someone maybe for a reference? Your grandmother could say, what is the criteria?
Yes. So as you mentioned, academic ability, definitely. Community service is a very, very big part of a scholarship. You must be someone who's interested in building this country and building your community. Yes, we do ask for references, a reference from your head teacher, a reference from your school, from your head teacher, from your career guidance. And sometimes we also require a reference from someone in the community. It could be the chief, it could be someone from your church. But the most important one that students have to be aware of is that the application has to be your own work. So you can't hire someone to complete the application for you. You certainly cannot complete your application using AI, because the AI detectors will tell that this essay was written by AI, it was not your own work.
And now, you know, you tapped into a very, very important one, which is, of course, AI. In light of the fourth industrial revolution and the emerging technologies such as AI, what are some of the advices that you give the students that do come to you in terms of career guidance of some sort? Because we know that most jobs in the future, if not all, will be replaced by these emerging technologies.
Yes. I think that not all of the jobs will be replaced, but they will be changed in how we do them. As technology has already been changing how we approach some jobs, I think AI is going to be a continuation of that. I think the one piece of advice that I would say to students is, please do not be afraid of mathematics, because AI is a technology, and if you want to future-proof your career, please embrace STEM subjects, because those are the ones that will be the best adapted to be in the forefront of careers, as they will better meet the requirements for applying for careers that are in the technology space, which most of the time will need mathematics as a requirement.
And now, what advice would you give young people in the Kingdom of Eswatini facing barriers or that have doubts in pursuing higher education or meaningful skills development?
Yes. I think that young people in Eswatini are extremely capable. I have the privilege of going around the country through my role as head of community service at Waterford or through the Knowledge Institute to talk to young people almost every single week. There is so much talent in the country. The advice that I would give is that I need more young people to believe in themselves, to not think that certain opportunities are for some people and not for other people. Believe in yourself, right? That is very important. Just have this audacious sense of, I can do anything, right? But then follow that belief up with the work. If you believe in yourself, then do the work to get there. When I say apply to 10 opportunities, complete 10 application forms. When I say that the primary requirement, first of all, is academic ability, study so that you are academically capable. When I say that you need to be a member of your community, you need to be a community builder, and then they've asked you to do a community cleanup campaign, be there, you know, show up and participate, right? So I think that sometimes as young people, I still consider myself young, is that we feel like things have to be done for us. Certainly there are some things that the system of development that has to be done by other people, but we have a role to play. We are part and parcel of that development process. So we have to show up and not be too critical that the government is not doing enough. This and that is not being done properly. I understand things could be better, but we are not supposed to be sitting back and expecting things to happen and then we just show up and everything is done. So I would say that we must be part of the equation. We must play our role in the process.
All right. And as we close off, Fanele, what message would you like to leave our viewers with and the Emaswati Nation regarding the importance of education and professional development and, of course, in shaping the future of Eswatini?
Yes. The future belongs to all of us as Emaswati, whether we are young people or we are old people. We all belong to Eswatini and we all have a role to play in developing this country. And I strongly believe that education is one of the ways that helps us to be able to build a better future for ourselves and for this country. So the message that I would like to leave is, whatever age that you are, education can enable you to have the skills that you need in order to help this country become better. So I would say, all of us, let's be lifelong learners. Let's pursue education as a way of getting new skills that enables us to build this future, to be able to have a better country. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Fanele, for joining us once again. We do hope that Emaswati, or that 50% of Emaswati in 5 years being in tertiary will definitely be achieved. And we hope to see more of you in career development of the young Swazis.
Thank you so much.
All right, you heard it. That is all for today. But you know, we will be back next week, Tuesday at 6:30. It is Young Climber. And from me, Tabelo Dlamini, it's good night.